Hi there, this is Nan Riddle, life coach and pastor, and this is one of my kitchen talks, and I'm in my little kitchen that I stay at when I'm pastoring during the week and on Sundays at the church that I serve. And I love the story in John 4 about the woman at the well. I could just pick little parts of that out every day. I could probably talk about that as a kitchen talk every day. And today I'm thinking about, there's this part in the story. So this woman has gone to draw a well in the middle of the day, and she meets Jesus there. He's gone out of his way to be there. And he talks to her about many things, but one of the things that happens is she begins to kind of talk religious to him about this well that they're at and how it's the well of their cultural ancestors. And is he saying that the living water he wants to give her is better than the water coming from this well? And she gets into all this theological stuff, and Jesus gears the conversation then instead to what's really going on in her life. And he begins to ask her about who she's been married to. Does she have a husband? And he gears the conversation in such a way that she has to say that she's not married, and he points out that she's been married 5 times. The man that she's living with isn't her husband. And I think that part of their conversation is so important. He ends up giving her living water so she'll never be thirsty again. She leaves her water jar and she goes and tells everyone, and they come back to meet him because she says, "Come meet the man that told me everything that I ever did." But this part where he draws her in and they talk about the real life stuff that's happening to her, I think is so important, because I think in that Jesus is saying we can really talk about these things, you and I. The questions that you have, the real questions that you have, that's what I want to talk to you about. Not the theological stuff, not all the religious stuff. Let's talk about what's really going on in your life. Last night I had someone from my church call me, and a child that's an extended member of their family, a little girl that's only 6 years old, was murdered. Now that's heavy stuff. That leaves a ton of questions. When a child dies and when they're murdered, that's just chaos in your mind. And it's hard to make sense of God and love and a good plan for your life, and God being the great protector and God being almighty and being in control of everything. That's a tough time to make sense of everything. That just leaves a lot of questions. And when I look at this passage and I think about that 6-year-old child being murdered, I go back to Jesus talking to this woman at the well. And in the way he geared and steered the conversation to, you can talk to me about anything. If you're angry, talk to me. If you can't figure it out, talk to me. If a 6-year-old little girl is murdered, talk to me. Yell at me, scream at me, ask me all the questions you want. I'm up for any of it. If you don't understand why your husband left you, if you don't understand why your kid's going this way instead of this way, if you don't understand why you can't get well, if you don't understand why you prayed and your best friend still died, whatever you don't understand, whatever the mysteries are, whatever the chaos is, Jesus is saying, I can take it. None of this is a surprise to me. Talk to me about it. Let's talk about it. Let me hear your concerns. Let me hear your worries. Let me hear the chaos that's in your mind. Tell me what you don't believe. Tell me what you do believe. All that matters is that we talk. And I love that because Jesus is right at our level there. He meets the woman right at where she's at, and he does for us too. Whether you've lost someone like that in such a terrible way, or whether you just can't figure out why you don't feel like getting out of bed this morning, Jesus is saying, talk to me about the real things. Talk to me about the real life things that you're going through. So today, whether it's the midday sun, when you go to the well, metaphorically, to meet Jesus, at that moment when everything's falling apart, at that moment when you've got it all together, at that moment when you hear the worst news, something terrible's happening in the world or in your own family, Jesus can handle that. Be in conversation with God. Talk to God about everything you feel. If you're mad, be mad. If you're angry, be angry. If you have questions, tell God you just don't know. Because God can handle all that. None of it takes God by surprise. And I can't answer today why those terrible things happen in life. But I know, what I do know, is that Jesus is there. And we can talk to Jesus about those real life things. So today, meet Jesus at the well, my friend. Let him know how you really feel. Talk to him about those real things. Lay it all out for him. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in again. I appreciate it so much to this Kitchen Talk. Bye-bye now.